welcome to 30-Minute Reviews. I am Adam. We are here to talk about Steam Next Fest. But if you can go on real quick, go to bit.ly/BOSTMRSURV and fill out the quick 2-minute survey. The link is also in the description of the episode. If you go there and fill out the quick survey, it will help us better cater the content to our listeners, and we can see what people want to listen to. The analytics aspect of Spreaker, it's not, well, like, here's the thing. I have Chartable, which keeps track of, it keeps track of, broadly the, what people are listening to. It's very broad, though, where it's and it's only for iPhone. It only keeps track of iPhone listens, which, as we are right now, iPhones make up 30% of the market share, so it's not giving me all the information. Spreaker gives me more of the information, and I can see how many actual listens we're getting, but it doesn't catalog what episodes are being listened to. So I know how many listeners we're getting, and I have a feeling I know what's driving listenership in the last few days, but I don't know specifically if that's the case. I could suspect, but I can't guarantee. So here we are, and if you can do that, that would be very, very helpful. Which brings us to our topic today. Actually, first, I want to talk about this show. I was watching The Office last night on Freeform, and I keep seeing advertisements for this show, Single Drunk Female, about this girl who kind of hits rock bottom, she was, working at, not BuzzFeed, and she assaults her boss while drunk at work, and she goes to rehab, and she ends up, moving back with her mom, and it's a really good show. It is surprisingly well done, and it's very, very interesting. It's on Freeform and on Hulu. That's where I watched the first 3 episodes on Hulu last night, and I was like, should I just watch the next episode too and just keep going? But nah, it's 1 in the morning, I have to go to work, so maybe not. And it is definitely worth watching. It's very entertaining, and Sophia Black-D'Elia, I think is the name of the actress. She does a very good job in the lead. Yeah, definitely if you are someone who who likes redemption stories, so that's what she's shaping up to be. Even if the person who is trying to get the redemption and trying to, claw her way back, this person, she keeps making the wrong decision, and you feel for her every time she does, even though she's doing the wrong thing. It's a very, very good show. So I've seen the first 3 episodes, and I'm gonna watch more in the near future. But yeah, Single Drunk Female. It's on Freeform and on Hulu. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Steam Next Fest. And it's this. For those of you who don't know what Steam Next Fest is, it is an event that Steam held to showcase. It's an indie showcase, like how Nintendo does their indie showcase every once in a while. And it's here are some of the cool indie games coming to Nintendo Switch. Steam has that same thing, where it's Steam is going to show off and allow demos, hundreds and hundreds of demos of new games. Now, there are hundreds of demos. I played 5 of them. Well, really 4, because one of them wouldn't load on my computer. I installed it, and anytime I tried to load it and bring it back to the Steam launcher, it just wouldn't work. But I played 4 of them. I installed 5, played 4, and let's go through some of them. One of them I played was Golfy, which is this interesting kind of golf puzzle maze game that's kind of based on miniature golf, not, full golf. It's pretty fun. It seems like one of those mobile games that you see advertisements for all the time, like Golf Rivals, something like that. But it is single player and a lot more difficult, and it does take a lot more processing power on your computer because of how highly rendered everything is. But it's fun. The physics engine works pretty well, which is important for a game like this, because if you're going to do a game like this and the physics engine doesn't work well, it's just going to frustrate players. Because it's all about making sure, you have to angle shots and angle what's going to happen and all of that. Now, I don't know if it's just that my computer is shit, or if it's that, the game itself was having a hard time loading, but it is slow. It could be that my computer is shit. My laptop is not known for being high-end. So it could have been that my laptop is shit. And because my laptop is shit, it didn't render properly while it was, being played. But it was slow. Very, buggy. But that could just be my laptop. And it could have just been that was an alpha build of the game. But it's pretty fun. Definitely worth playing. There's also this other cool game called Hero Hour, I think it's called. Or Hour of Hero or something like that. I really should have written these down. This one I played last night for quite a bit of time. And it's pretty fun too. It's basically Civilization. It reminds me a lot of Civilization, like the city building and all of that you need and that you encounter in Civilization. And other games like it, mixed with the high fantasy adventure of just exploring as a hero and all of that. So it's an interesting mix of city building and fantasy adventure, and I think that it works very well, and the two styles kind of mesh well in this game. There is a tutorial that you do have to play, and you can't just dive right in, because if you do not use the tutorial, you will have no idea what to do, because a lot of the controls aren't typical of what you would expect for a game like this. Like, you have to right-click to move your character, which is not unheard of, but it's also not the standard, way that things get done. But you do have to play, because, there are things like ores you have to collect, gold you have to collect, leveling up your battles, and there is a learning curve to it, but it is very fun as well. I think that demo is still available. It's called Heroes Hour, I think, and that's another pretty fun one. I would also highly recommend. The next one that I'm going to talk about is called Hamster Playground, which I picked this game because it looked so unbearably cute that I was like, okay, I have to try it. And it's like someone said, what if we took The Sims and put it and made hamsters instead? And you can build a little hamster, emporium or city or enclosure. I don't know what the right word is for those hamster cages with the tubes and all of that. But you can do that. You can level up your hamsters and make them smarter and make them stronger and more agile and all that kind of stuff. And it's a really fun game. You make sure your hamsters' needs are met. You make sure that your hamsters are getting their strength increased and all of their other stats are being increased, and then you use that to help you out later on in the game. And it's really, really fun. There's going to be competitive co-op or competitive multiplayer and co-op in the future. And they talk about all the things you're going to do in the full game. And it is a very, very entertaining thing that I'm very much excited for playing. And the thing is, too, it is a full 3D game, and it works very well. And again, my laptop is shit, and this game worked very well on my laptop. Despite the fact that my laptop is pretty shitty. It's an Inspiron, piece of shit. It actually was surprising how well my laptop ran this game, all things considered. And it is, fully realized, fully 3D, and pretty fun. There is also the game that I had the most fun with, though. And maybe it's, it should be obvious to anyone listening. It's Koromon, which comes out this month at some point. It is this really, really fun game about it's Pokemon. You go out, you catch creatures, you battle the creatures, you level up the creatures, you evolve the creatures. It's really fun. There are some tweaks to the stats. There's a separate, experience bar that increases and gets you stronger as you go through the game. And doesn't really, it just gives you additional stat boosts as you go. I love the built-in Nuzlocke rules that you can implement. I really love the way that's set up, where you can, all of those optional playstyle rules are hardwired into the game if you pick your difficulty. You can do Nuzlocke, you can do you can do the one per round, you can do the only being allowed to, if it dies, it gets released. You can do that kind of thing. item usage and item buying and things like that. They're all hardwired into the game now. And I saw they're putting a randomizer in. That's going to be pretty awesome. Like, this could become a new standard bearer of, online runs of Monster Collection style games. Where it's like, look, this is one where it's like we've seen what the fans want. We've seen, what fans have, it's not what fans have wanted, because I don't think anyone ever said, hey, take these unofficial rules that, exist within the Pokemon fan community and put them into the game forcefully. But there's definitely this idea of, seeing what the fan community has done, expanding on it in a meaningful way that is huge and interesting, and then putting it on full display and being like, we have this. We have we have a full catalog of options that come from being able to do this. And it's a Pokemon style game. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna say it's not. But in the same way that Bug Fables was an homage to what's it called? Mario Party. Paper Mario 2. This is very obviously an homage to Pokemon, where going through the game, it's all kind of the same mechanics. Like, a lot of the mechanics are similar. You battle a Pokemon, you weaken it, you catch it, you move on. Or you battle a Pokemon, you weaken it, you kill it, you move on. It's a very similar kind of way things are done that you've done for the last 25 years, almost 30 years. So to say that, no, it is 25 years. So if you look at, how that works and all of that, the tutorial is a little long. And I only played through the game once. There are 3 save files, which I love, too, about this. The 3 save files, another thing that I love. But if you look at, what's it called? If you look at, how this game kind of functions, it appears that your starters can vary. I got, a fire type, a water type, and an ice type. Because they do a personality quiz to kind of get you to see how, to see how much you, what's it called? To see how much you are, to see which ones you should get, which is an interesting idea. And it's nothing new. It was done in, what's it called? What was the other game? Pokemon, it was done in Pokemon, Mystery Dungeon. They started out Mystery Dungeon, the first one, with a personality test. You answer questions, and they're like, okay, this is who you are. It's like, all right, cool. And of course, if you were me, you looked up how to get Cyndaquil, because I like Cyndaquil, so I looked up how to get Cyndaquil when I played that. So it's a pretty cool, general concept. I think it's an interesting idea. To see, I'll be interested to see how well it works within the confines of, this new, when it comes out, I'll be interested to see how the game plays out, because you're defeating Titans, which are, I guess, giant legendary Pokemon, what we would consider giant legendary Pokemon. You're defeating them to collect Titan Essence, and you're collecting that, and I feel like that could be it could very quickly, this game, become boring, but from what I've played so far and how different it looks, it is unique. I do have one gripe, and that is, maybe it's just the fact that for years Pokemon didn't have this, and now that this game does, it feels a little not out of place, but different. I don't like your character talking. It's there were a few Pokemon fan games that were designed to be based on, what's it called? There was a Pokemon version that was based on the anime. And it's okay, so you're playing through the story of the anime, and you're playing as Ash. So, okay, asshole. You're playing as Ash, so yeah, it makes sense that you would have dialogue there, because it's, the anime. You're playing through the anime. But there are other ones like Clover, I think, or Light Platinum, where there was dialogue. And I'm like, well, the characters don't talk. Like, you're supposed to be able to insert yourself so everyone talks to you when you approach them, but you don't talk back. It creates this weird, like, it's a weird thing where it's like any other video game, I don't run into that. Like, I don't bump into, like, I think Legend of Zelda and Pokemon might be the only ones where I would be like, hey, wait a minute, this character shouldn't be talking. Like, I don't, like, if I was playing, like, Horizon Forbidden West, or if I was playing, like, Spider-Man or any other game, and my character was talking, I would be like, oh, okay, that's normal. That's, like, that's how this should be. But for this, for whatever reason, I'm like, no, sorry, no, I can't back this. It feels weird. It really is one of those things. It feels weird to have your character talking and having dialogue with other NPCs. It is one. It really feels strange. So yeah, those are the big games at a Steam Next Fest. Do you agree with me that these are good ideas? Was there a game that you saw that I didn't? There were a few games that I was like, that's a lot of gigabytes to install for a demo, so I just didn't. That seemed interesting. I'm seeing a huge trend towards city builders. Like, city building is a big thing, it appears, where a lot of people are, getting into building city builders. Or other simulators like that, business simulators and things of that nature, that are designed to be like, you're going to start a business and do that. Like, there was one that looked really interesting that was like, you build a company that makes PCs. There was one that you do where it's like, you design, what's it called? You design, like, houses, you design, it's all things like that. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. I like this is becoming more mainstream now. I'm interested to see what the next step of this is, to see where we go and where this story kind of keeps going from here. And I'm interested to see how this continues out. But, like, there are some simulators that don't need to be made. Like, I would make the argument that Autopsy Simulator is a little weird. Oh, Thief Simulator 2 is coming out. I don't know if it's by the same company. I know Thief Simulator also had Restaurant Simulator, and that's by the same company. But Thief Simulator 2 is coming out, and Thief Simulator was pretty fun. It looks like Thief Simulator 2 is not strictly a cat burglar simulator like the first one was, where the first one is entirely designed to be, you are stealing from people without them noticing. That's the point of it. You do not want to get caught. If you see someone, you cannot bludgeon them with your crowbar to get them to, to get them to not report you for your crimes. That game is pretty big on that. Whereas, like, if you hit someone, that's it, game over. If you escape, a lot of what happens in Thief Simulator are a little bit not out there, but a little bit extreme in terms of the responses, where it's like, you hit something while you're in pursuit of the cops, that's it, you're done. Your car doesn't quite handle very well. A lot of the mechanics of what you have to do to actually, like, do things is a little annoying. Like, if you want to try and make an escape in your car, you have to open the door, get into your car, close the door, turn on the car, and it's like, why do I need 7 little events to get in the fucking car to get out? I'm just trying to escape, and eventually, after doing it enough times, you kind of get it down to a science, like boom, 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 and you can leave. But it is kind of a little bit of an annoyance. Like, other games where you're stealing, GTA for instance, you just grab what you need and you get the fuck out of there. Like, it's not a seven little button inputs to get you to do something. And I get simulator, it's probably designed to be like, look, this is what you gotta do if you're doing it in real life. And it's like, yeah, no, I get it, but, like, the mundanity of it is a little bit much. And then what was the other one? Like, I think that Kitchen Simulator or Restaurant Simulator, that was cool for about 10 minutes, and then I was like, well, this is a little bit, interesting in terms of, like, the level of... And the thing is, too, I was playing it on the Switch. The Switch is not exactly the most responsive of controllers, especially if you have Joy-Con drift, which mine does. So, like, when I was playing it, like, it's a game that you need to be very, very particular about where your cursor is at every given point. Otherwise, it won't work right, because you have to line it up to get things onto a plate. You have to do all of these other things to, keep things, kind of in line in the right place. And it's very hard to do that if your controller keeps deciding, like, I want to go for a stroll to the left real quick. And it's kind of an odd thing to have to deal with on a fairly regular basis. So maybe it was just that. Maybe if I play it again, it'll be more fun. But because of how intricate these games are, it's not a game that you can put down for months at a time and then pick back up and be like, oh, okay, I'll just, do this from here and continue on. Like, what's it called? Like it's something different. Like, no, there is a lot of controls and a lot of, like, intricacies of where the buttons need to go and how it works and all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of silly to me that, I think that that's something that as, for a game, that's what is something that I really look for, is the ability to put it down for months at a time and then come back to it without needing to sit here through here's how you do everything. Or if you are, I think games should start doing that, because we live in a world where there are so many games that are coming out, and there are so many other things happening in people's lives, that putting in a thing where it's like, I think Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green had it pretty right, where it's like, it doesn't matter how long you walk away from Fire Red and Leaf Green, it will give you a little summary of where you were up until this point to what you were trying to do. It's like the last 4 major events you did, and then you can just go right back to your game. And it's like, okay, so I was doing X, Y, and Z, and then moving on from there. And then it had all of the, that was the best way to do it. I really think, I stand by that, is that one of the biggest gaming innovations that didn't take off was Fire Red and Leaf Green's summary system to keep track of what you were doing and where you are. And then also the, the appearance of, the TGTV in quick access, where it could teach you what you're doing if you somehow forgot how to play Pokemon. So we'll wrap up there for today. If you go on Steam, you can look at all the demos on there and try out some for yourself. I really, really love supporting indie developers, so until then, if you can do that to help them out, that'd be great. So until then, have a great rest of your week.